As we come up to the 1 year anniversary of the PSVR2, I feel it's time to talk about what actually happened over the year. Not only that, I also want to talk about my experiences with this headset and some of the accessories to make it more comfortable and just something I want to use every day. And before we get into the video, please let me know if you've bought a PSVR2, why you bought it in the first place, and what games you're playing the most. Like, what games do you enjoy? Because hopefully some people will come across this video who haven't got a PSVR2 and will head straight to the comments to see why you guys bought it in the first place. Oh, and before I forget, please remember to hit like on the video. It really helps the channel grow. Now, as I scroll through the catalogue of PSVR2 games, which is nearly up to 200, obviously there's some just announced games, like you can't download them yet. I honestly think PSVR2 has a fantastic games library. And I think in a year, it's provided some of the highest quality VR games that I've played. Now, that doesn't change the fact that PlayStation themselves don't really seem to be pushing this thing, as I'm sure you've heard this countless times from me and other news resources. And also, I think they've allowed some really low quality games on the store as well. For example, Down and Out, which, to be honest, just seemed like a complete cash grab. I don't know why it was on the store. And then I guess we need to jump into the fact that the headset itself isn't selling as well as it should have done, or at least I think it's sold up to 1 million units by now, but the concurrent users of the headset are nowhere near that high. And I try and figure out why that is, and I think there's a number of reasons. There's not a massive amount of big IPs on the platform currently. Previous users of PSVR, which are undoubtedly the hardcore audience of this headset right now, are still waiting for either hybrid titles. So for example, I would love to be able to play Helldivers 2 using a PSVR 2. Even if I was just using my controller, I think it'd be an amazing experience, but we haven't got any of that yet. We're still waiting for Astrobot, which I'm not even sure if he's ever going to come. Asobi don't seem to be talking about it. Wipeout, we still didn't get any particular demos like PlayStation VR Worlds that could simply show off what the headset is capable of. So it does feel like Sony literally threw this headset out there with 4 or 5 fantastic games to push it through, and then kind of left it. It's such a shame because I am a PSVR fan. Like, PSVR, the original at least, was the headset that got me into VR, so it definitely holds a special place in my heart. And with the news that PSVR 2 was coming back in February last year, I was so excited, and I was particularly honoured to be sent one by Sony themselves to give you guys some early impressions of the headset. Now, my review is something I did take a quick look back on before making today's video. I still stand by everything I said in that video. It has a very small sweet spot. Screen door can be an issue. Persistence is an issue. Reprojection is an issue. And I kind of think that the main problem is the headset is more expensive than the console itself. Now, as I said, we're going over like the year anniversary, right? And I want to go through why I think the headset hasn't been as popular, which is why I'm going into this scenario. Now, I don't want to talk about the cable. I don't think the cable is that much of an issue. It is an issue for some people, but personally, I'm quite happy with it. But what I do think is the issue is if you give someone an accessory, an add-on product to a main product, making the accessory, which, and I'm assuming most people who buy the headset don't know how much they're going to use it. They're assuming it's going to be something they maybe enjoy on the weekend, or just something they enjoy on a game-to-game basis. It's not going to be their daily driver. So the fact the headset is more costly than the console really does put it on the back foot. That doesn't stop the headset though being amazing once certain games use all the technologies inside it. Eye tracking, dynamic foveated rendering, adaptive triggers, headset haptics, amazing blacks, amazing colors, 120 Hz refresh rate if the developers can allow it, or 90 Hz refresh rate. What I'm trying to say is when everything aligns, the PSVR 2 has given me some of the best experiences in VR gaming over the last year. Hence, I don't make videos basically moaning about it, because me as a VR user, I've got access to Quest, I've got access to PCVR, and I think that's where a lot of this frustration comes from. Me personally, I've got something new I could potentially play every day, and if it's not something new, the games on PSVR 2 tend to be longer life games. You know, they're games that have got a real huge amount of gameplay. For example, Resident Evil 4. I know we got Resident Evil 4 on Quest, and I do love that version because I'm a big fan of the original, but the remake is 12 to 16 hours and it looks fantastic. Like, it seriously looks like one of the best VR games you could ever play. And then you got Gran Turismo. Like, I know there's people out there who've just got a racing rig purely for this game. So when it comes to what value this headset provides people, it's a very game by game basis. And the biggest issue I've had ever since day one is there's nothing to sell people on the headset instantly. When you go in the headset, you are literally met by a flat menu, and I kind of hate that. I kind of hate at this point in time, it was fine on PSVR, but at this point in time, you should be in a virtual environment. You should be able to select your games inside that virtual environment as well. And as I said before, the fact there's no PlayStation VR Worlds demos for you to invite people around and say, play this, try this, it just feels like a massively missed opportunity. So if I was going to re-review the headset right now, let's say I picked this headset up a couple of days ago, right, and I went right through the catalogue, I would still think my top 20 best PSVR2 games video would still stand, and I'll link that right now over there. I'll leave a link and I'll also put it at the end of the video, but I would include Legendary Tales. Legendary Tales for me has been a fantastic experience. And then you've also got games like Zombieland Headshot Fever, which is PSVR2 exclusive in some ways. The build that is on PSVR2 you can't play anywhere else, and it looks absolutely fantastic. No Man's Sky, for example, better than any other version out there. Super smooth to play, looks amazing, and overall I just wish this headset was more popular. I really do. I'm completely gutted that at the moment it really does feel like PlayStation are letting something that has got so much potential fall to the wayside. And like I said before in other videos, I will never stop supporting this headset. I want to see it grow. I want to see developers make good games utilizing the features of the headset, and I do have faith that some good stuff is going to be coming later this year. Now, when it comes to comfort, I've got some accessories that I've been using, and I've made videos on this before, which I can link here right now. I always get that confused. Is the globular cluster. Now, the globular cluster has possibly been the best accessory ever for this particular headset. I also love these headphones, but I don't think many people actually enjoy them. But I personally like them because I don't like having earphones in my ears. You know, I use them all the time at the gym, when I walk the dog. But aside from that, you don't really need that much else to enjoy PSVR2. Now, if you're watching this video wondering whether you should get a PSVR 2, take a look at the games library and then look at games like Horizon Call of the Mountain, as I said, Gran Turismo, Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil 4, Zombieland, No Man's Sky. Like, look at those games and wonder if you want the best VR experience you can get, and you will find it on PSVR 2. I love PCVR, but the expense compared to a PS5 and a PCVR headset is just not there. PlayStation VR with a PS5 is still well under half the price for the experience you'll get, say, in Red Matter 2, for example. Now, when it comes to the negatives of where we are today in VR, things PSVR can't do really. It can't do 3D movies, which is really unfortunate. It can't really do mixed reality, which is very unfortunate because I've been really enjoying that with Quest 3. So it purely is about VR gaming. That's all it's ever going to be. But again, when you get the right experience, like Synapse, for example, that uses all the technologies in one game, it's a fantastic experience. And when I play flat games, which I don't do very often, I just feel like something's missing now for me. You know, I feel like there's a deeper level to gaming that is available now with VR, and there is a connection that is missing unless the game is absolutely fantastic. There's my re-review of PSVR 2. I think it's a fantastic piece of kit. PlayStation need to push it a lot more. I'm sure games are going to be coming this year. They're going to be shadow dropping. Whether they're big IPs, I've got no idea. There are some hardcore PlayStation users out there that are missing out, and I don't know how to get them to come across. You know, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. What do you guys do? Do you share your headset around? Do you invite friends around? Do you share my channel, for example? How do you let people know how good PlayStation VR 2 is? Thank you ever so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, get involved in the conversation, and I'll see you all in the next one.